Well, hey everyone, it's Melinda Thomas, and this is the Business Buzz Show. And I think we just had somebody click in, but I don't see a name or picture. So if you're here, and I just want to say hello. Today we're going to talk about email marketing, why to do it and how to do it. I talk about this a lot with clients because it's usually one of the only things they are not using in their mix of marketing. And marketing really does have to be a mix. It's not, no one thing works alone, okay? So why should you use email marketing? And email marketing, let me clarify that part, is it could be a newsletter, it could be promotions, it could be a tips email that you send, twice a month. Those are all considered email marketing. A welcome letter if someone subscribes to your list, and we'll get to that in a minute. But so that's considered email marketing. You might hear it talked about as either a blast or a newsletter or something like that, but that's what we're talking about today. So one of the things that people tell me is, I don't really need it. My business is all word of mouth, it's all referral. We've never had a problem. Well, a lot of those people who said that to me in this time that we're in are having a problem. So just know that a mix, going back to the mix, is really, really important. And relying on just word of mouth, referrals, that sort of thing is really dangerous for your business. So I also wanted to go another way with that. So, okay, say you do that. How do you keep up with your current customers? How do you invite customers who bought from you before to come back? Do you call them up? If you have a lot of customers, that's going to be it's going to be impossible. So that's what you would use email marketing for as well. It is for retention. It's to boost loyalty, retention, as well as get new customers. So one of the big statistics that I found, so I love statistics, 61% of people that were surveyed said they want to hear from you. I'll read it to you. It says they want to receive, and this says promotional emails every week. I don't know if I want a promotional email every week. It depends on the business, but they do want to hear from you. And what's working for other business owners is 37% of the responders to the survey that I was looking at said that email is the most effective channel for retention and for loyalty. So they listed websites, 13% said websites work for them, and 11% said social media. So it's really kind of a big deal. And I know for some people not doing it, they're not doing it because they don't know how to start. But we're going to talk about that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that marketing and advertising emails influence the buying decision of 50.7% customers. Think about it. When was the last time you got an email? You didn't know you needed something until you got that email and you're like, yeah. So it is, it's really important to stay top of mind with your customers. And this can, having that consistent email coming in every week is a great way for you to be there at the right time when they're ready to buy. And 50% of the time, it's very effective. Another one is, I get lots of likes and shares on social media. My clients, actually, my customers, my sales, a lot of them come from social media. So I don't really need to do email marketing. Well, that's awesome. The problem with social media or any kind of platform that is owned by someone else is it's owned by someone else. So that means they can change things up if they want to, right? It's theirs, they own it. So for instance, we've seen a lot of changes with Facebook over the years with the way that they are distributing posts for people. So initially it was like, woo, everybody gets the same kind of great, post reach meaning they put it in everybody's feed. Then they started whittling it down. Now it's going to be this, now it's going to be that. Now, if you pay us, we'll show it to more people, but it's not going to be free. So if you're using social media, I would look at what your budget is for social media. What are you spending on it? Because email marketing is virtually free. And I just told you a bunch of really good reasons to use it, some statistics from business owners who've used it. And, it has a ROI, and this is like one of those numbers that people throw around, and I'm like, oh, come on. It has an ROI, which is return on your investment. For every dollar you spend, the return is $44. So it's a 4,400% return, which is pretty darn amazing. Social media gets great returns for some people, but it is expensive. You do pay for it. Now you might say, oh, well, those email marketing, services, you have to sign up for a month. You sign up for a trial and then you have to go back and sign up for the year. Most of them have a free version. It's got less bells and whistles, but it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. So, essentially it's your time. It's putting the time in to do it. And initially it might feel like it's a lot of time, and that's just until you get into a rhythm, until you sort of get a sense of what you need to do and how to plan it. So, the other thing is businesses have said email is 40% better at converting. So converting meaning having someone see your post or see your email 40% of the time. They're getting a better percentage of people who will buy or at least inquire. And that's better than Facebook and Twitter. So I have nothing against social media, and trust me, but you have to have a mix. And if you're going to add something, this is a low, no cost way to do it. So groups and followers. Oh, I have 30,000 followers, whatever. Or I have a Facebook group. Awesome. Are they buying from you? If they all are, then I applaud you. But a lot of the times, the only way they see your post is if they log into your group. Now, you can absolutely have them show up in your news feed. They have a way to filter things so that you might not always see a post from your Facebook group. It is totally at their discretion how they distribute posts. So even you cannot in any way, shape, or form say just to my followers. Well, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I don't know that for a fact, but I want to remind you that we are all on email like every hour, most of us. I'm not on Facebook more than 2 times a day if I can help it, because it becomes like this, it's a great distraction. So remember that if you are in someone's email box, they are going to see you. Whether they open it or not, it doesn't matter. Your name is there. It's like you walking by and saying hello. That's what's important. So, Facebook is going to charge you money to show your post to more people. And if that's what you've been getting like ridiculous return on that, great. But if you don't have a budget or you don't want to spend money on it, then I recommend switching over to the email. So I think those are all pretty good reasons why. The one last good one. This is from this year, 2020, between January and March. So not even the month of April, where a lot of people were spending more time on email. Purchases, e-commerce purchases rose, and this is through emails, not just random, search the internet. This is through an email, a purchase rose by 96%. Now, given that there were a lot of restrictions on where we could go and what we could do in the month of April, or in the months of, I guess, March. For some people, it was more, closer to the beginning of the year. But honestly, in America, it's pretty incredible that from January to March, there was that big of an increase. So It doesn't have to be hard. So let's talk about how. All right. And a lot of people ask me, well, I don't have an email list. So should I just wait and get an email list and then start doing email? Or they'll say, well, I have an email list, I just don't know what provider. Pick one. Most of them have a free trial, first of all, and many of them have a free version. As I said, it might have a limit on the number of people on your list. So, you know, some of them are 500, you know, 0 to 500 people, they won't charge you a thing, you know, beyond that, or even some of them are larger than that. Some of them are $5,000. Oh, hello, 5,000 subscribers. So there are a lot of options out there. I have used Constant Contact. I've used Aweber. I've used Active Campaign, Mad Mimi. And right now I'm using MailChimp, and that's kind of where I started. And I went to kind of a bunch of different ones just to try them out. And I'm back with MailChimp just because it's easy. This is not, email is not my life's work. I just want to be able to send out emails to my subscribers. So question, do you start with an email list or do you start with a provider? It's really kind of a combination of both. So pick a provider if you don't have one right now, regardless of whether you have what you would call a subscriber list. And a subscriber list is not your book of contacts. It's not. It's not. And, you know, people always say, you know, how do you tell a good newsletter from a bad newsletter? A bad newsletter is one that you receive and you don't remember signing up for it. That's a bad newsletter. You have not given them permission to send to you. So, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, I get away with it, or, oh, blah, blah, blah. Great. If you are getting away with it, you're not having people unsubscribe, or, you know, the people that you've been sending to are responsive, terrific. Going forward, I really encourage you to not do that. You have to ask permission. It doesn't have to be super hard either. There are a couple ways to do it. You can take that list in your contacts and create a template email and send to them and say, hey, this is my, you know, new tips email that I'm sending out twice a month. It's going to have, you know, this kind of information, and you should definitely provide some value in that initial one for sure. And if you don't want to receive it anymore, here's where you click. So anyone who stays on your list, you can consider a subscriber. Officially, that's not the way it is, but that I feel like is very legitimate. The other way to do it is to say, hey, this is what I'm going to be providing. If you want to keep getting these, click here. And that's really the best way, because they are through, you know, your email provider, they are, you know, subscribing, they are opting in. But you know, people go, oh, what's the big deal? I get a business card, I throw it on my list. Well, you know, that you have not asked for permission, and they haven't invited you. Consider this: someone who gives you their email address is inviting you into their inbox. And if they haven't invited you, here's a wacky analogy. It's the equivalent of, they give you your business card, they give you their business card, and a couple days later, you go down to breakfast and they're sitting at the table in your kitchen. You didn't invite them. Or they're sitting in the backyard having a drink. You didn't invite them. And then they show up like randomly whenever they feel like it, and you haven't invited them. And then you talk to some colleagues and they go, yeah, oh yeah, I've been getting that too. They've been showing up at my inbox, house. So I know that's wacky and it sounds, you know, way out there, but just think about it as someone is inviting you when they give you permission. And that also means that you need to provide value. So there are a lot of different ways to start a subscriber list. So once you sign up with my recommendation is sign up with a provider, take the 10 people you've been doing the most business with, ask them. So send an email through your personal email. Ask them, would it be okay if I, begin to send you some tips every once in a while? Kind of like the tips I've been giving you through my personal email. I'm just going to be putting you into a system. Most 99% of the time, they're going to say yes. So I would say start with a provider and your best 10 clients or former clients, but ask permission. And then to build from there, all services have different systems for you to create an opt-in that would go on your site, or it can go on your email signature. And then with that, you need to think about value. So if you are building a subscriber list, meaning you're encouraging people to say yes to you showing up in their inbox, sometimes you want to give them an incentive for doing that, because it's a currency. Your email is a currency, essentially. So they're going to give you their email, and you should give them something of great value. So that could be a downloadable guide. It could be 5 tips to getting rid of ants. It could be 5 tips, and this is if your business is pest control. Not if your business, if your business isn't pest control, that would be very unusual to get from like your financial advisor. But it is an opportunity, I suppose. But doing something that is sharing your expertise and sharing the good stuff. I'm not talking, and do not worry that you are giving away the farm. You're not. Even if you told them exactly, step by step, how to do what you do, 99% of people don't want to do it themselves or can't. So, but you providing that value, that makes them feel like you are someone that they can trust, that's someone that really wants to help them and isn't just looking for a sale. And not that sales are bad. That is not what I'm saying. But if you are going to be sending emails, you definitely want to be providing value. And a lot of times providing some sort of downloadable gift is a great way to start. And it usually is one of the only ways you can get people to sign up. All right. So you've gotten your provider and you've uploaded your list. Now, some people are asking, how often should I send it? My recommendation is start with 2 a month. And I looked at some of these studies, and they're saying that Tuesdays and Thursdays are the very best days. Very best meaning they're the days when most people are opening them more often. And I was really curious why. Why is this the day? Why are these the days? And Tuesday specifically, they have said that you are coming off the weekend on Monday, right? Monday you get slammed with who knows what. I usually dread Mondays. Tuesday is kind of when business really gets rolling, and that is the time when you are put under the most stress. And so that is the reason that they say that people will go to their email to kind of relieve some stress. And I think about my own behavior, and I think that's really true. So, but anyway, it's kind of an interesting factoid. So the day, the time, they were saying, the time is the same thing. It depends on your audience, just like social media. The perfect time to send something is based on when your audience is online or when they seem to be opening. With email marketing, you can check that. There are analytics that you can access in any provider's service that will tell you where the most opens were. Was it right after you sent it? Was it 5 hours after you sent it? So maybe 5 hours is a better time from when you sent it. Don't worry about that. I don't want you to get obsessed with the day and the time. Do it. The biggest thing here is to do it. Those are just, kind of like best practices. All right, so you figured out when you want to do it. I recommend you go look at your calendar and choose that Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday that is a week from now, or a week from when you want to send it, and then you start your process. So the process, and this is to make it less stressful for you, but you could do it the day of. It's just really stressful. I know, I've done it. But the process is choosing who you're going to write to. What is the point of your email? And what I recommend is to take your very favorite client, the person who either, you just have a great relationship with, or is someone who purchases from you all the time, and think about what would make them smile or smarter. So it's like SOS. So sending them something that will make them smarter means information, means an update on the latest in your industry and how it applies to them, or here's what they need to do. It doesn't have to be dry. It shouldn't be dry, but that's what we're talking about when we talk about information. And I always say, a good mix of edutainment is great. So, providing value, providing, hey, this is happening, and then, oh, did you know that this is also happening? And it might be something funny or lighthearted. So it's always great to do a little of both, but the easiest way to figure out what to write is to know who you're writing to. So decide who that person is, pick that person, and just write their name down as you are starting to write your email. It is a practice that is being used by Warren Buffett. And actually that's how I learned about it, not through Warren, of course, but Ann Handley, who is a marketing leader that I follow, talks about it all the time. And that Warren Buffett, when he does his annual review for all of his customers, all of the shareholders, he sits down to write it, and he writes it with his sister Doris in mind. So write to Doris, because that is going to prevent you from using jargon, from making it really dry and boring. When you're writing to someone who is, in your mind who you're writing for, you also know what they like, a little bit about their background, and it helps you to find things to send to them. It helps you to write things for them because it's going to sound much more personal with that person in mind. So highly recommend it. And I start all of my emails with the name of the person that I use as my inspiration. And it makes a huge difference, because I can go back and go, oh, I just got off on a tangent about marketing stuff that they don't care about. They just want to know what they need to do now. So that is my tip for writing your emails. And one thing I want to just make sure I have, now this is it. So the 3 things that you can do, the 3 ways to start doing email marketing or restart it if you already have a list, is pick your provider. If you already have one, great. Ask 10 people for permission. Or if you already have a list of people who love hearing from you, great. Choose one person to write to. So who is your Doris? Ask yourself, what is going to make them smile or smarter? As you write what you're writing about, it might make them smarter, but is it in their language? And that's where the person comes in mind that you're thinking of. So go ahead and create your first email. Use the templates, all of those providers. Any provider has a bunch of templates you can use. Just don't get caught up in all of the technical stuff. Set it to go, to schedule it, just schedule it through that, and make a point of doing it again in 2 weeks. So there's a little bit of setup with the provider, and there are a lot of other, obviously, elements to it in terms of, building your email list, creating an opt-in gift. Sometimes you might have heard that referred to as a lead magnet. meaning that it's something that is so valuable to your ideal customer, it will draw them to you and they will want to hear from you regularly. But there's never going to be a perfect time except for now. And now is always. So I'm saying do it, start it. Don't worry about the logistics of it. Don't worry about what time it is, what day it is. That part isn't as important as what's in it. So spend more time on what's in it and less time worrying about the template and the timing. And I think you'll see that you'll get some really good results. So that's it for today's Business Buzz. If you have questions or you want to talk about email marketing, I love talking about it. So please let me know. But in the meantime, have a great week and thanks for watching.